Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Events Cast. How are you doing today? I'm really glad that you've decided to tune in with me today because today we've got one of our first new format type episodes. So what am I talking about? Well, if you didn't hear my updated episode a couple of weeks ago, I told you that I was going to start this new series of episodes sharing with you my thoughts, my opinions of the topic we've had the week before with our guests. So if you don't know it, every other week we have a guest episode. Last week, for example, we spoke with Oliver from IMEX about event experiences. So this week, what I'm going to be doing is talking about that episode and talking what I've personally taken out of that episode, about that conversation, some of the ideas I have from the back of that episode and how I'm going to take it into my day-to-day, into my work, and hopefully provide you some inspiration of some of ideas of how you might apply some of the things we discuss here. So, like I said, our first episode of this type. I do hope you enjoyed this type of episodes. I would love to hear from you. They are new and I do this for you. I find them really helpful when I hear this type of episodes in other podcasts. That's why I have decided doing it. Also, because I feel like I bring so many amazing guests on this show. I love the topics we discuss. I generally choose topics that I really like to talk about, and I always end up super inspired at the end with loads of ideas, which I actually never share with you. I never share out there with you or with anyone else. So I just thought it was a great opportunity to be able to put those thoughts down, to share them, and they might be able to help you. I do hope they can, but I would love to hear if they do. I would love to hear if you like this type of episodes, if you prefer the solo episodes we had before on specific topics, which we probably will continue doing, or if you would prefer a different type of topics. So if you do want to provide any feedback, you can just leave me a review wherever you're listening, or go to theeventscast.com and write me a message there, or write me directly, Francesca BBR Web Design, and let me know what you want to hear from this podcast so I can do it for you. Enough rambling, let's crack the intro and then we'll go right into this episode. Welcome to the Events Cast, a podcast to help event professionals attract more attendees and grow their events. Through weekly interviews with event professionals and solo episodes with myself, you'll learn practical tips and strategies to better market your events. I'm your host, Francesca Bellit, and I'm the co-founder of BBR Web Design and a marketing coach helping event producers achieve their marketing goals with a conversion-optimized event website. If you need support with your event websites or marketing, visit theeventscast.com to check out how we can work together. And while you're there, explore some of the freebies made just for you. And now for today's episode. Alright then, let's get started. Like I said, today I am going to be talking about the episode I recorded last week with Oliver from IMEX, in which we were talking all about event experiences. And most of all, we were talking about the experience that IMEX builds for their audience and how they do it and what it means for them to build an experience. So if you haven't heard that episode, I definitely encourage you to go back to listen to it. Maybe pause now and go back and listen to it, or listen to it after, whichever order you want. But I felt very inspired on it after. There was a very clear theme going on in this episode that was really to get you to know your audience. If you know me at all, you'll know that this is something that I absolutely love to talk about. I love to hear people talking about. As a marketer, I think we probably all do, but get to know your audience is always at the forefront. It's always the first step. It's always the beginning of any campaign, strategy, anything we do as marketers. If it's not the start, we're probably doing something wrong. But I do always love to hear when we're talking about get to know your audience. Because how can you design an experience for someone if you don't know who they truly are? If you don't know what they want, if you don't know what they're doing or what's their purpose or what their pain points are. But I really think that IMEX and Oliver, they take it to the next level. They really take care of it on this aspect. I think a key of what they do is mostly to build experiences for their audience, different journeys that they can also choose and pick which one to make. And for that, you need to understand your audience, where they are. But a part that I really have been thinking about, a part that's really stuck with me, is where Ollie talked about building an experience, not just at your show, but the whole experience your audience has coming to your show and around your show. Obviously, IMEX is, well, depends which one you attend. You've got the European one in Frankfurt or in Vegas, but they're all various days. General people travel to Frankfurt specifically or Las Vegas for the event. They travel by plane or train or however they may get there. But then they also stay in hotels, and there's a few days at a certain city, which they're not every day. So there is a big experience going around this event. Depending on the nature of your event, this might be something similar. You may be also running a bigger event, a bigger trade show, a bigger exhibition, or whatever type of event that does involve travel, that does involve staying around the city, which if it does, I think following a route like IMEX does, at really looking at what's going on during all this time, even if you're not controlling it, as Oliver said, it's not about controlling it, because a lot of the business, a lot of what happens is with the sponsors or with exhibitors, with the networking, but that is all just part of the experience. So it's not about controlling it, but it's about knowing that it is happening and making sure in some way or other that it's happening at the highest quality, highest level possible. But if you are sitting around there thinking that you maybe only have a one-day show, even maybe only a morning show, a smaller, shorter type of event, maybe you've got one running in London at the Excel or wherever it is you may have it running, and you think that this type of planification of knowledge of your audience, of how they get into your event and how you can shape their experience here, doesn't have as much to do, I would strongly encourage you to think about this again, because no matter the event you're running, no matter the length, no matter the format or how far or how close it is actually to your audience, there is an experience around that. People, like Oliver said, people are taking time out of their days, out of their lives to come to your event. They're committing to come to your event, and they want to see the maximum return on this possible. So even if you have a half day or a day trade show or event happening in the centre of London or wherever it is you may be having it, people still have to decide to stop whatever they're doing to come to you to get that. It's not like it's online, virtual, that they can do it wherever they're at. They still have to come to you. So do you really know where your audience is coming from? Do you know the journeys they are taking? And are you incorporating aspects into your experience that is going to improve that overall experience for them? This is just something that's really made me think more about it. There's a lot of events which I work on, which I know we do this, but I can also think of some which we don't. Maybe all because of that perspective that we think that it's maybe not big enough us to think about these aspects. But that's why I've really enjoyed this episode, because it's really got me thinking about this. Now, obviously, as you may know, I specifically don't work on the logistics or the organization of the events. I work within the event marketing. I work on the websites. So how does this really translate to my work, or what I might start pushing a bit more with my clients from this? Well, it has made me think of how we can incorporate more messaging maybe on websites on around the journey online pre-event that we're having with our audience to try to improve this experience. So let me see if I can explain myself. I always do love to create attendee page or zone, whatever you want to call it, on an event website to have, for example, like a second home page, one dedicated for new audience, so for new registration, sponsors, exhibitors. But I also very much like a second part of the website that's dedicated for ticket holders, for sponsors, for speakers, a part that for those people who are already engaged with you. I really like to have a site built, a page that gives them all the information. Here's the speakers, here's the sponsors, here's what you want to do for this, here you get your ticket, here's the app, here's the all these things. But what I'm going to really start thinking about more are how we can generate maybe, or how we can build into those pages, but also maybe the front of the website too, more elements to help build that journey outside. I think this is going to be incorporated with a bit of a study of what happens out. So where are people coming from, which as Oliver and as we already discussed here, I think is really, really important. But then how can we bring that onto the websites to help contribute? So something as simple as a travel and venue page, for example, which I'm a big fan, and I think that every event website needs to have it, no matter where you're, how far or how close your event, you need a travel and venue page. I'm just going to say that here, clear and steady. But I can visualize a lot of travel and venue pages, which I have been working on lately and with a lot of clients that aren't actually too detailed. But now I'm just thinking of how can we maybe make that page better to improve the experience for them coming. Can we maybe make it easier for them to buy tickets, for example, or just provide that extra information, or maybe even lay it out in a different way to show the ease, or to say, well, if you are more up to, if you would like to take a nice morning walk along the thing, you've got this option. Or if you do, or if you are feeling a bit more tired and want to take a fully transported one, we've got these options. Instead of just embedding it on maybe with a Google Maps or something, it's just really making me think, how can we make that better? Obviously, I looked how Oliver talked about the standard of like places where people stay, how they'd like to contribute that to the experience. So when I have like hotel recommendations, it's going to make me think what we want to put there. But general, maybe like improving the communication, let's just put it like that goes in pre and post event and with all around the event to get people to the event. Those elements that are going to respect them. I'm just really going to think of how we can build those in better into the website. And obviously with that always comes the communications. Maybe we should be scheduling an extra email that talks about the travel, for example, to the event. Let's not just talk about maybe the agendas and the speakers and what's going on, or the things that you're interested in the speakers knowing, the booths, but give them more detailed information of how to make it there. And then another one I've really been thinking about that I am going to definitely start to use a lot much more is the experience also our audiences are having on the website to buy tickets, but also to find the information. You know, if you've heard me speak about this about websites before, you would have heard me speak about user experience. That's always on top of my mind. However, it's just always a good reminder to go back, get to know your audience a bit better and improve the experience that's going on there. But also lately, I have been tapping into a lot of chat box, for example, that actually can give real event information to your audience, not just questions, not just sales, not just a demo, but having chat box to use, for example, so that audience, a visitor can say who's speaking at your event, and it can just give you the top line speakers and send you to the speaker page, or what sessions would you recommend me to view if I am interested in this. So really having informational chat box, let's call it like that. Kezia actually from Clarion Events spoke about this in one of the episodes she was on quite a while ago when she was talking about the successful DTX campaign in Manchester, and I really, really enjoyed it. And we've been working on it also with a lot of clients, so I really, really like this idea. But yeah, it's just reminded me also about it and how to improve that user experience. Anyway, these are just some of my thoughts from this episode. They're just some of the things that have come to mind to me of how I am going to use it to improve, again, the whole journey of it, starting online, starting on the moment they buy the ticket. And I'd be boring if I just didn't mention that experience on the registration, how long are your registration forms? How tedious are they? How much friction are you putting into your registration forms? Here is a great part to talk about where the experience really starts with your audience. It's the first step, it's the first commitment, it's the first experience point that they have with your audience. So I couldn't go without mentioning that. It's not going to say that this episode especially inspired me to improve it, because we didn't talk on it at all, but there's never enough times to say shorten your registration form, make it easier, make it less friction, make it simpler, make it one clickable. Please do it. That's gonna be it for me today. First review episodes out. I hope you enjoy it, and like I said, let me know what you think, and let me know if you're not interested in these type of episodes and you want the other ones back or a different style, or let me know if you do like them and if we should continue. If you're not yet subscribed, now is a great moment to do so, because I'm going to tell you, we've got some great episodes lined up. We've got some great guests coming on. You're not going to want to miss them. So go wherever you listen to this one and subscribe now to make sure you don't miss it. And as you are there, drop us a little review, drop us a rating, let everyone know what you think about this episode, about this podcast. I read them all, I love them, I love to hear your views, and it's just such a simple ask for all the hard work we put into making this podcast. So if you could spare a moment, go drop us a review. And if you want to check out some of the other episodes, if you want to check out some of what we've been talking about here on the show, go to theeventscast.com/all episodes and take a look at all the episodes. We have a lot of past guests. If you're new here and you want to go see what's out there, go check it out, go see what's an episode's interesting for you, and listen back to wherever you want. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are listening into this episode. I hope you enjoy it. I'm right now on a Friday recording this, so I'm going to go have a nice dinner with some friends, have a beer, which I really, really deserve, I think, right now. It's been a very long week, and I look forward to catching you very soon in another one. Bye for now.